let us make a film about butterfly massage. Many civilized human beings have forgotten in the West how to touch, how not to be embarrassed when they stimulate skin. And this is something that each mammal, after the child is born, it will lick the little calf from the tip of the nose to the toes. And we would like to show you a sequence of touches that are very useful. The beginnings of my work with this butterfly massage were during my stay as a young resident in a hospital where I was called to births in the pediatric department, and these babies were to be reanimated. At that time, it was about the 1950s, the mothers were usually narcotized during the third phase, the birth of the baby. And it was my task to help these babies to get back into a better state, a beautiful state. And I had learned gentle methods from my father to apply a gentle bioenergetic therapy which creates a breathing wave in the baby from breast to belly, and stroking to release the tensions of the body muscles. And it was the babies also were doped by the many drugs that the mothers had taken during the birth. And so I thought it would be interesting to try this. Now we show you the 4 basic techniques that we use in butterfly massage. The first one is called stroking. It is like a feather going down, slipping down the arm gently. Stroking very, very tenderly and delicately. The second movement was shaking, which we use to loosen the muscles. We start at the top as if we were wiggling gelatin without breaking it, from above to below. Shaking, 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 several times. Shaking, 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 shaking. The third movement that we use is called circling. Small, tiny rounds like a hairdresser uses. We learn that best because it has to be so delicate by closing our own eyelid and quiet, tiny, wincy circles, not on the baby or other persons. Fourth movement that we use on the behind and the shoulder muscles, where the muscles are attached, is a combination of circling and shaking. Down, down, down. Right at the beginning of the front of the body. And we make a long stroking connection from the head to the feet. And the connection, head, neck, shoulders, and out the arms to the fingertips. This long connection, stroke, is always done on the front of the body at the beginning and also on the back of the body, as well in the beginning as in the end of the side. We begin with the head. We are stroking from the part of the hair like a hat, like a cap, without lifting the head, whatever you can easily reach, gently, just down to the eyes. Good. And also behind the head without lifting it, just what you can reach. And now the muscles, the small circles, like a hairdresser, tiny. The frontal muscles, the temporal muscles, and the occipital muscles without lifting. No. You slip underneath and behind the occiput for the occipital muscles. But in the baby, I only do this all once. Now we are at the eyes and we stroke sideways, starting at the eyebrow, around the eye, gently and connecting several times. Yes, good. And from the nose, the bridge of the nose, over the cheeks, towards the ears, and out to the ears. And now on the ears, and around the ears, on the skull. Good. Now, okay? This purring from her belly, we heard, is an example of the discharge of a tension of the intestine, which in the baby occurs often, and it is called psychoperistalsis, psychoperistaltic discharge in English. Now we work gently with the muscles of the face. The chewing muscle, the masseter, we do little descending circles from above to below, to the chin, from the zygomatic bone to the chin. Good. Now, the muscles of expression around the face, and we are here a little bit deeper in a circle, moving these muscles so the tissues move but without hurting. And now the muscles above the chin, and the muscles under the chin in the triangle below the jaw. Very good. Okay. Now we're going to work with the neck, and we stroke it. I begin from the chin to the clavicle, and then I slide without lifting the head and bilaterally stroke down the neck gently. And behind the skull, yeah, very good. Now, the muscle of the neck, we're going to shake them very gently. Then the sternocleidomastoid, the muscle that turns the neck, and but be careful, don't, yeah, very gentle, without hurting, until the clavicle. And now, behind the skull, you work on, with light circles, the paravertebral muscles that sometimes are very tight in people, and just move these muscles very easily without hurting, very gently. Excellent. To show you where we are, where we were, we had made circles in the occipital area of the skull, and now at the neck we shook the paravertebral muscle groups in order to loosen them. Circling shakings. Okay? Now we start on the shoulders, and we slide, stroking down from the shoulders to the fingertips over the shoulders. Several times. Very good. And immediately we follow with the shaking of the trapezius muscle that lifts shoulders, and then down the arm. Shake, 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 gently. Very good. Now we take the hand, and both hands, and if a baby has a clenched fist, we gently, with thumb on one side and the fingers on the other, we open the hand gently and stroking down across that palm, and we touch the muscles inside the hand a little bit, and then we slide down each little finger very easily, just once. hand. Everything is done symmetrically on both sides. Now, you look en face, you look at the baby's face, so you have to turn, you turn around and look into the baby's face. In that direction, you take both hands and you stretch the arms as far as they go easily, and then hug, embrace, cross them. But gently everything. Yeah. And now stretch and hug. Now we are at the chest, and we are drawing with one finger a line in the intercostal spaces from the sternum, from the breastbone, going in the interspaces between the ribs, and you try to go all the way to the ground, go all around until we get to the diaphragm, to the costal margin, to the last rib. And in the baby, use one finger. You can use more fingers in the grown-ups. You can use, so you with the I do it like that. I think of drawing the direction of the ribs. Good. Gently down to as far as you can go. Good. That's, yeah. And now see when you've reached the end of the rib cage. And now this is important. We work in the intercostal muscle groups sideways in the interspaces, and we make little circles, little tiny circles in those spaces, very lightly in the baby. Not too hard. Exactly. And again, always start at the sternum, the breastbone. And if we are rushed, we omit this part, but it's very important with babies or people who have difficulty with asthma, or breathing difficulties, or bronchitis, etc. We only do that once. And we can skip it if there's not enough time. Okay, good. And now we are shaking the pectoral muscle that attracts or pulls the arm towards the body, and I do it symmetrically, and I shake, 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 starting from the axilla and towards the thorax, towards the body. Exactly, until we get there. Good. Now, we are going to stroke and treat the last rib attachments, which is where we are stimulating the diaphragm several times, very lightly. Good. Yes. And now we are going a little deeper, and we're going to stimulate under the last rib attachment And this is where the diaphragm is attached, and we go hook into it, but without hurting. And usually use my finger rather than my thumb to do this. Yeah, yeah. And I just stimulate it without the nails, or you need short nails for this. Okay. Well, I need to show you. That's not quite. So I go in under the last rib, especially if there are tensions in the diaphragm. I go a little bit deeper to try and reach the attachment where the diaphragm attaches. It's very therapeutic. Without hurting, you sort of hook into that area. Not hurt, not painfully. And now there's a great sweeping stroking around the belly wall, but not if the baby has a new wet umbilicus, we don't touch it. Please be careful that you don't touch the new umbilicus in a newborn. Okay? And there's the umbilicus, and the navel that we don't touch. Now we're going to do the same thing, shaking the belly wall in the same direction. Very good. It is used in newborns, and therefore it's terribly important not to touch the umbilicus. And now the bikini fold is the fold where the body shows a fold, and now we stroke it sideways from the middle to the side, and in this same fold this is where the abdominal segment reaches the pelvic segment, so we do the circles from the middle to the side in that area. Very important maneuver. Now we are at the connection between belly and legs, and we stroke all the way to the tip of the toes, but we don't omit the genitals, we just go over them without stressing them. Okay? And now we are at the shaking of the thigh muscles, the muscles of the leg, from the top to the bottom. Again, like jello, we don't break. Just jiggle, jiggle, jiggle. Shake, shake, shake. Very good. And now we are at the legs, and the foot is held in one hand, and a thumb on one side and the fingers on the other. We stroke down towards the tip of the toes several times. And then we touch the muscles on the foot soles in the direction of the toes. Boom, 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 a little bit. And we slip down each little toe very lightly. And the other side, everything symmetrical, please, both sides. It's the same. And in the grown-up, we touch the muscles in the foot and slip down every toe. Easily. Now there's a no. Okay, we're gonna do a little bicycling or a little kicking game with the babies. Babies love it. And put them down, and we are at the end of the front, and we're going to do, and first, wait a moment, yes, stroking all the way down to the toes, and again long strokes connecting to the shoulders and the hands. And now you turn to your belly. Now we do again the long stroke. Okay, from the head, over the shoulders, the back, the behind, over the legs, over the heels, all the way to the toes, and again out the shoulders and out the arms to the fingertips. Very good. Okay. Now, we already did the head and the neck, and therefore we are now at the shoulders. And we are going to work in the tensions of the shoulder blades, and they're sometimes very tense. We're going to diagonally stroke down from the center of the backbone to the shoulder.